Hello and welcome to my 8th Hotlap and setup video for F1 2015, and this time we are driving around Austria, one of the tracks I don't really like because there are no corners where you can drive different lines and not really many corners, so I don't like this either. And we're starting the Hotlap, braking for turn 1 round about 100 meters. Try to not cut or extend. I had a little cut, but nothing too major, I think. Now up the hill into the second corner, again 100 meter point, board your braking point. You can clip the curb on the inside, and it's important to get a good traction out of that corner, because here's the second DRS straight downhill, and again 100 meter board, same braking point. And as you can see, there are no corners really where you can take different lines, so I really don't like this. Now there's two left-handers, first one in 4th gear, try to clip the curb, and for this one swing it out, and now into this corner a short time to 4th gear to have the turning. Now for the last two corners, round about 50 meter board is your braking point, and here just as you arrive in 6th gear down to 4th and over the start finish line, and that's a 1:07.076, and that wasn't the quickest lap of all time, but I think it was pretty clean. Just one really small cut in the first corner, but I think it was okay. Now a quick look onto the setup. 3-2 wings, despite of long straights and low speed corners in the first and middle sector, you really need those wings for the last sector, and yeah, that's pretty important. For the transmission, I use quite high transmission because you really need to have good feeling for your car, and it's important to have a good traction. And for the camber and toe, I use a different toe. I did this because it gives you better traction out of corners, and it reduces your grip in corners, but I think that's more important than grip in corners. For the suspension, different as well for the traction. That's the most important thing on this track, because there are just 1.5 sections with fast corners. And for the tire pressure, because there aren't many corners where your tire temperature gets up, you can easily use higher tire pressure. And for the weight you can put in your car, I put it a little bit to the rear, because you really don't want to have understeer on this track, because it really loses you lots of time. And now a quick look onto the sector times. And I pretty much lose 1.5 tenths in the first sector, and in the second and in the third sector we are almost even with the guy. FGS02FFM funny name. And now a quick look onto the leaderboard, and I am not the quickest, by far not the quickest. I'm in 7th position, but I think there aren't many people in front of me who drove as clean as I did, so I hope maybe that's the reason why I'm slow, and because I don't prefer those tracks. In first place and in second place, two guys from the F1 Game DEPC League. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the video. Maybe you noticed that I now have Twitter and Ask, so if you wanna ask me a question or if you wanna follow me on Twitter, you can do it there. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be great to like it, because it really supports me. And yeah, see you next time in Great Britain.